Hello and welcome back. This is Strategy 5. We just covered scheduling with emails and apps, and we talked about batching tasks. Now I want to sort of take that to a different level where we're going to be talking about sprints and breaks. Now, what am I talking about here? The science suggests that our brains can give really intense focus for only limited amounts of time before we start it gets tired and wants to have a break. The time is around the 45-50 minute mark, and if you're really a genius at it and you're doing something you're very comfortable with, you know inside out, then that can be longer. But if you're doing something that requires creativity, it requires imagination, it requires new thought, maybe joining two dots, maybe problem solving, maybe doing things that you know using your knowledge but doing it using it in a way to solve a specific problem that you don't solve every day, then 45 minutes is about the limit. Now I would suggest that when you're doing things like, remember, in batching, we talked about batching emails. Now if you're giving emails 100% focus, every one is going to be different. You're going to be doing one thing, one email, and then getting on to the next. I would suggest that is a task of this nature, because you're going to have to give each one your individual thought, unless your team has already given you the canned response to commonly asked questions. So the science suggests that if you try to do more than 45 minutes without taking a break, your performance starts dipping quite quickly. Now, if you want peak performance, there was, I think it was Abraham Lincoln said, if I was given 6 hours to cut a tree down, I would spend 4 hours sharpening the axe. And I don't know if you've ever used a chainsaw. Recently, in our garden, we had to cut some trees down and big branches. I mean, talking about, things that are about a foot in diameter. And I was using a chainsaw, and I didn't realize how often you had to stop and sharpen the chainsaw. I just thought it went on and on and on. But if you stop and sharpen the same chainsaw, it makes cutting much more easy and safe, because when things are blunt, weird things can happen with something as dangerous. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be dangerous to spend more than 45 minutes on the task, but you get the point that we need to keep ourselves sharp to get the job done faster. And the more you spend on accepting that the brain science has proved this element, then you're going to play on the side of safety, of science, and in the background you're going to know that you're doing the right thing. And what you'll find is you go faster and you'll feel more energized as a result. So I typically will cut my 60-minute times into 45-50 minute sprints, 10-minute breaks. 45-50 minute sprints, 10-minute breaks. And the break could be going for a walk, it could be going to make a cup of coffee, it may be going just to do some deep breathing for a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. I don't know if your watch has got this little breathing app where you just press a button and it gives you 1 minute of deep breathing where you consciously breathe. Oh, it is so energizing. And because often when we're tense, when we're thinking hard, we're typically breathing from the top half of our lungs, of our chest. And most of the receptors of oxygen in our lungs is in the bottom third of our lungs. So if we breathe in the top half, top third, then we're not giving our body the oxygen it needs, and our brains use a disproportionate amount of oxygen and energy in our bodies, and it needs the oxygen to make it function well, as you know. So what we want to do is make sure that we do spend a bit of time breathing and taking time out. And when you do exercise or go for a walk, then if you go for a brisk walk, then you breathe heavier and then you're typically breathing deeper. Make sense? So it's one of the things I've really got to enjoy. And my little watch that I've got on does give me an alert that says, you've been sitting down for 50 minutes. it's time to have a standing break. And that's what I do. So in the next 2 or 3 minutes after I get that message, I know I've spent my 45 quality minutes on focus. I get really heavily focused on that, and then I take my 5-10 minute break, and then I come back and go to my desk. So the other thing I want to sort of lay out here is, when do we do our heavy duty work and when do we do our sort of lighter, intellectually challenging work? And every one of us will have times in the day when we are really feeling powerful and strong and productive, and there'll be other times in the day when we're feeling less productive, less alert. For me, my alert time is early in the morning. I'm up for 5. I have a morning routine which includes a bit of meditation, breathing, exercising, making a drinking a pint and a half of water and stuff with some hydration salts in it. But I have a process, and I'm really alert from about 6 to 10. I am very alert and full of beans, very productive. The later part of the day, some from 4 o'clock onwards, I am pretty well cruising, and I'm looking to do low level work, and I'm answering my easy emails. I'm checking on the team, seeing how they're doing. Things that don't need a lot of intellectual power, because that has been expended on more important things like helping my clients and helping myself grow my business. So that really is how you want to also begin to look at where you put your sprints in for heavy duty work. And you may not want to do sprints later on in your less productive time. So some people I know are night owls. They wake up at sort of 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and they really get going about midday, and the later half of the day they're really on fire. You've just got to do it as you see it yourself. If we are working together on our programs, what's one of the early things we do is just make sure we know what your peak times are and what your uh, less effective times are, so you can begin to put your more intellectually challenging tasks in the right time zones. Okay, so that's it for sprints. That's strategy number 5. Hopefully you enjoyed that and got something out of it. I don't know what you're going to do differently. I'd love to know, and give me some feedback. Tell me how you're getting on with this program. And next time we're going to be talking about strategy 6, which is getting ahead. Now, everyone wants to get ahead, and I know you, like me, are always looking to get better. Better never stops, right? Getting better never stops. And we as business owners, we're always looking for that. We're going to be talking about that in the next strategy number 6, getting ahead. Join me then.